Hey love, I'm Gina, a fitness, nutrition, and self-love coach, helping high-achieving women heal their relationship with food and their bodies so they can finally feel free, strong, and confident in their own skin. If you've ever felt stuck in the cycle of restriction, binging, and body shame, trust me, you are not alone. On this podcast, we're calling out diet culture BS, building your dream body without the obsession, and getting real about what it actually means to love yourself in a world that constantly tells you not to. I've been there. Anorexia, binge eating, body hate, you name it, I've lived it. And now I help women just like you find food freedom, feel sexy in their skin, and take their damn power back. So get ready, because the Fit Without Obsession podcast starts now. Hey guys, today we're going to dive into a topic that I am so passionate about sharing and really is the basis of my entire business and everything that I practice and instill in my clients. And I want you to know that if you have ever thought, I'm sure you have, I'm sure this thought has come up, that you want to heal your relationship with food, but you're scared and you'll never get the body that you want if you do. And that doesn't make you crazy. I mean, that's what we kind of have been told for years and years and years through diet culture. That's what we've been preconditioned to think and feel and not allow that thought that we can actually have a great relationship with food and our dream body. Like, that seems like taboo to so many of us. And you're not alone for feeling this way. Like, that fear of just not being able to actually have my dream body if I gave up, in a sense, if I allowed myself to have a healthy relationship with food, it held me hostage for years. And today we're going to really rip apart this idea and show you that you can have both coincidentally. It's possible. And I really, truly used to believe that food freedom meant settling and that like loving my body meant I had to stop caring about my body. And honestly, that belief kept me trapped, completely miserable, and really nowhere near the body or life I wanted. Me trying to create this dream body and not allowing myself to have all foods, not allowing myself to have rest days, not allowing myself to really feel good about these things kept me from ultimately what I thought I was striving for, my end goal. I was so far from it by not healing. So today we're really going to go into shattering that lie that you can't have a healthy relationship with food and your dream body, that it has to be one or the other. And I'm truly living proof that you absolutely can heal your relationship with food and build the dream body that you've always wanted. And I help women do it every single day inside my one-on-one coaching program. This is literally what I help women find through their healing process. So I really want to dive in today and get into it with you. And I want you to first off know that you don't have to choose between loving yourself and wanting more for yourself. You can actually have both. You can absolutely have both. So the first thing we're going to dive into today is the fear that's holding you back right now. And I want to normalize this fear because, again, you might feel isolated in a lot of the thoughts that you're having and feel like you're the only one that has these negative thoughts around food. You're the only one that has this negative thought around your body. But really, the sad truth is there are a lot of other women out there that feel the same way. And so many women secretly fear that if they stop obsessing, they're going to spiral. You know, they think that obsession is the only thing keeping them in control. And if you tied your success and worthiness to control, letting go feels like death. Like, it feels like probably the worst possible feeling you could ever imagine. It really does. And I've done it. Like, I've felt that feeling. Everyone, honestly, that is stuck in obsession around food and their body, in order to find food freedom, in order to have that healthy relationship with food, you do have to go through that feeling. So I know that sounds scary and painful and you might not want to get there, but it's like getting your blood drawn or getting a shot, right? Like, you don't want to have to do it, but you know you got to do it. And on the other side, usually, like, let's say it's a shot, you're going to feel better afterwards, right? Or you get your blood drawn, like, then you have a lot more clarity around maybe a situation you're going through with your health. Like, even though there's these things that we don't want to do, like, we know that we need to do them if we want to get from point A to point B. So with healing, a lot of that is jumping from point A to point B, knowing that it's going to be scary, knowing that it's going to be hard, knowing it's going to be uncomfortable, but understanding that going through it is going to give you the ultimate end goal you want. And maybe even an end goal that is even better than you can imagine right now, because you are still stuck in this, right? You're still stuck in this horrible relationship with food. So it might even be hard for you to imagine how good it could be. And that's the exciting part. You can dream. Sky's the limit once you heal your relationship with food. And I want you to know that diet culture sold you a false choice, that you have to be free or have the body you love, not both. And that's actually complete bullshit. Diet culture makes money off of you feeling like shit. So guess what? You cannot trust diet culture. You cannot trust all these big corporations that make a ton of money off of you wanting to look better, to feel better, to be the sexy one in the room. Like, there's so many companies out there that really dig into our deepest fears, dig into our insecurities, and profit off of it. And that's the sad truth. So we really have to, ingest a lot of the information we see out there with a grain of salt, that it might not be in our best interest. Now, I want to talk about me. When I was in college, I actually started going to therapy because I was depressed, I was anxious, I was having racing thoughts, I couldn't sleep, I was just really struggling mentally. So I decided that I would see a therapist. And I actually went for my first session. She was kind of going through just my history, seeing what was popping up for me. And the first thing she said to me was, "Oh, sounds like you have an eating disorder." And this is pre-eating disorder Gina. Technically, yes, I guess at the time, if she could see the traits that I had an eating disorder, it had started. But this was pre me knowing that was something that I was struggling with. I honestly thought I was fine. I thought that everything I shared with her, specifically what I went into, is telling her that I stressed out about my friend's birthday coming up. I didn't want to have to eat the food that was going to be there. I was really scared because I didn't like the menu. And I said something like, "Oh, well, everyone feels this way though, don't they?" I was so trapped in this mindset that I didn't really realize anything was wrong with me. So sometimes we can't see how toxic things are, or things that we're feeling are from our own lens, our own point of view. Sometimes we really need someone on the other side. And I could look back now and be like, wow, she was an expert. She knew exactly what she was talking about. She had just met me and she diagnosed me. But guess what? At the time, I didn't go back to therapy because I was like, screw this girl. She doesn't know what's going on with me. She's saying I have an eating disorder. No, I have anxiety. Guess what? You can have both those things. And a lot of the times, at least in my experience, they fed into each other, right? But I want you to picture and kind of think of yourself again for a moment and this possible obsession that you're struggling with, and think that if obsessing made you healthier, you wouldn't still feel so broken. I'm sure that's a big reason you're listening to this podcast, right? That you're feeling like some things need to change. You're feeling hopeless. You're feeling lost. You're feeling stuck. You are feeling broken. So we need to recognize that what you're doing right now is causing that. So we need to break down the habits that you are instilling in your everyday life and start recreating healthier ones for you, right? Replacing those negative habits with positive ones. And here's why obsession is actually really holding you back from getting to the body that you want, right? Again, going back to this episode, we're still talking about the same thing, I promise. We're going to get there. You want your dream body. That's why you're listening to this. Well, I want you to understand first why what you're doing now is not going to get you there. Why we need to change what you're doing now. And why, again, that obsession is holding you back currently. Because obsession doesn't create your dream body. It actually creates burnout, which I'm sure you're feeling. I'm sure you're feeling burnout as hell right now. It also creates inconsistency. It can create binges, self-sabotage. And again, let's be real. Most women think that obsession equals results. But truthfully, actually, obsession is keeping you stuck in the cycle of over-restricting, then getting burnt out, then having a binge or overeating, then having a shame spiral, and then trying to start over on Monday. And when we get stuck in this binge restrict cycle, it's not that you don't have willpower or that you need to try harder, there's something wrong with you, you're addicted to food. No, when you binge, your body isn't trying to betray you. When you go into that overeating state, it's actually trying to protect you from starvation. Because when we restrict, even if you're still eating, I will even say restrict in the sense of if you're giving yourself food rules, if you're saying that you can only eat at certain times, if you're restricting yourself to not going out to eat with your friends because you can cook stuff at home and it's safer. All of that is restricting because you are keeping yourself from doing the things and eating the things that you truly want to. So you might be listening to this and saying, well, Gina, I'm not restricting. I'm not eating as little as possible. I'm still eating food. But if you're putting a lot of limitations on that food, you are still restricting in a sense. And again, when we get into that point of overeating, you need food, you need fuel, whatever it is that you have been kind of cutting out. Maybe you've been cutting out carbs. You are going to crave the carbs, and your body is going to literally force you to eat them because it needs them. You cannot survive and live on this earth without eating carbs. Now, what this looks like for me, I want to share a little bit more about my story. And when I was stuck in this obsession kind of season of my life, I would restrict all week, I would binge on the weekends, I would hate myself, and then I would gain weight anyway. I literally would eat the salads, I would eat the lowest calorie foods, but then because I would go out on the weekends and drink my face off and eat pizza at 2 a.m. and just full on self-sabotage and hate myself, I would gain weight anyway, even though I starved myself all week. So it wasn't fucking fun. It literally sucked. But when I got into a healing season of my life, what I do now, right? And what I've been doing since I've found a healthy relationship with food, I eat consistently. I give myself permission. I build strength. And also through this process, I'm finally able to see my body actually change in a positive way, which is the first goal, right? That's why you're restricting. That's why you're obsessing, because you want to see your body change. But if you listen to my story, I didn't see my body change until I actually gave up that obsession, until I actually just was consistent. Because really, consistency doesn't come from obsession. It comes from self-respect. And truthfully, any coach will tell you this. This is literally the simplest thing, and you're going to be like, wow, that's how I get my dream body? No freaking way. Consistency is how you get your dream body. If you could take any sentence from this entire podcast, that is how you're going to get your dream body, because I know you want your dream body. But here's the thing. When you have a horrible relationship with food, you can't be consistent. You're going to be stuck in that cycle of binging, feeling shameful, restricting. You're going to be jumping from all over the place, not able to actually just sit in a routine that works, sit in a diet plan that works. And when I say diet, I don't mean restricting diet. I mean just what you're eating. So once you can find that consistency, that's when you actually get that body that you've been searching for. It's actually much simpler than you think. You can't hate your body into a version you'll finally love. I know that even probably you're laughing listening to that. Of course, Sheena, you're right. You can't hate your body. That doesn't make sense. But you're doing it. You're trying to do it, at least. And I, for years, was trying to do it because we don't pull ourselves out enough of it sometimes to recognize wait, if I'm being so mean to myself, why do I think that's going to make me love myself? That's not going to work. And really what I help my clients do every single day is build their dream physique while healing their relationship with food and their body. You can do it even at the same time. It doesn't have to be okay, I'm going to heal my relationship with food first and then next year I'm going to get my dream physique. No, you can actually, if you know how to do it properly and intentionally, you can get them at the same time. Because true transformation isn't about punishment. It's not about punishing yourself like you have been. It's about finding partnership with your body. Now, I know this is what you really want to know, is what it actually looks like to heal and build your dream body at the same time. How am I going to do that, Gina? I really want to figure it out. And going back to what we said at the beginning, most women think their dream body will come from eating less. But the truth is, it actually comes from eating more. I know that sounds so scary, but I'm going to tell you, when I started eating more, that is when I found my dream body. When I started eating more, that's when I started to actually start to love myself. When I started eating more, that is when all of the pieces of the puzzle finally clicked into place. And it's so hard to hear that, I'm sure, because diet culture has told you 5 million times over the course of your life that if you want to lose weight, you need to eat less. We've heard it over and over and over. It's like a broken loop in our head. But honestly, speaking from experience, watching my clients heal, watching their own stories, usually we do not need to eat less. usually we need to eat more. And I'm not going to say that you don't need to eat less somewhat and like be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Yes, we need to do that. But first, your metabolism needs to be primed for that. So that's step number one. If it's not, if your metabolism is kind of all over the place right now, if it's shot from restricting over a long period of time, you're not ready to go into a deficit. But when we go into a deficit, so many of us think, okay, as little as possible is the answer. No. That's like saying like working out 10 times a week is the answer because more is better. No, we know that balance is key. So really, if you are going into a deficit in a healthful way, if your metabolism is healed, yes, you want to cut some calories, but we don't need to go to extremes. We just want to do a little bit here and there, like cut out a snack or two. It's not this huge, big shift that needs to change where like you're miserable and you're starving and you hate every moment of your diet. Like, no, that's not how diets are supposed to work. Again, we have just been told this from companies that make money off of us failing and hating ourselves. So, one thing I also want to dive into that might be kind of on the other side of this, right? You know, maybe it's not diet culture, but I'm sure you've seen like food freedom accounts, body positive accounts, and sometimes they can kind of make you feel like if you want to change your physique, it means you're bad or like you're still stuck in that diet culture. And they kind of like almost keep you from wanting to focus on your body at all, except for being excited to have cellulite and being, you know, in love with every inch of it every single second of the day. When like realistically, like I'm going to just say, I call bullshit. Like you're allowed to have physique goals. I am someone that has recovered from an eating disorder and I still think that you can have physique goals. And I still encourage my clients to lose weight if that's what they want to do. I show them that they can do that. Now, you are allowed to want to lose fat. You are allowed to build muscle and feel sexy as fuck in your skin. But that is only okay as long as it comes from a place of love and not punishment. So again, when I'm healing this with my clients and they want to lose weight, but they want to have a good relationship with food, we are never going to resort to unhealthful habits or to habits that are going to make them feel less than. Because really, when we come to a place and we want to change our physique, we want to do it from a place where we have fucking confidence. Like you should have confidence now where you're at. And then yes, if you want to lose a couple extra pounds, that's also okay. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're stuck in diet culture. It just means you're human. Like we're allowed to want to better ourselves. We're allowed to have goals. It's just when these goals take us to these extremes that are super negative, that are super self-destructive, that is when we should not be trying to lose weight or trying to change our physique. And I really want to share some practical shifts that I made on my own healing journey that really helped me find this great relationship with food while building the dream physique that I have now. And I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. It's that I ate more and way more consistently. So you can't just like eat more one day and then like expect that it's going to fix everything. It's not. Just like, you know, I'm sure you've heard if you eat one salad, it's not going to make you automatically lose a ton of weight, right? Like it's consistency. And this might take longer than you want at first. You might want to see those results tomorrow. I get it. I used to be the one that would Google how to lose 10 pounds in a week. We want these quick fixes. That's why we tend to gravitate towards the messages that diet culture is sending because they promote quick fixes. But truthfully, quick fixes don't ever work. That is why you're stuck here right now. So the first thing, again, that I did was I ate more consistently. And then I also just focused on building strength and not shrinking. So when I went to the gym, I still worked out. I fucking love working out. It's not like I stopped and like just sat on the couch all the time. No, I started really honing in on strength training. So really using weights and lifting heavy, right? Because lifting heavy will not make you bulky. I promise this. But I didn't go in with the intention of looking at my Apple Watch and saying, okay, how many calories did I burn? Okay, how many minutes can I get on the treadmill today? I really, truly was just like, okay, I want to push myself with my lifts. Like, can I lift heavier each week? Can I challenge myself to do more reps? Like, it felt good to push and challenge in a sense of not trying to get a certain body type, but just trying to make myself a stronger individual. And now another shift that I made is I let go of the good versus bad food mentality. And this goes back to what we were talking about a little bit of the all or nothing thinking in one of our previous podcast episodes. But when we label foods as good and bad, we are tying those foods to our self-worth. So anytime you eat something off of that bad list, you're gonna think you're a piece of shit. No matter how good the day is going, no matter how good the week is going, no matter even if that bad food fit into your calories and macros. Like if you're labeling it as that, if you eat something bad, like of course it makes you feel bad. You're eating something that you are labeling as not a good trait. So how are we expecting ourselves to feel good after eating it? So erasing that vocabulary really does wonders for you. And I'm not saying that you're not going to still feel a little bit guilty when you eat what society deems as junk food, you know. I hate using that term, but just so that you can paint a picture. But you're not going to immediately feel better, but it will start to feel easier to incorporate those foods when you are not bashing yourself constantly for eating them. And then the last practical shift that I made is I rested, I fueled, and I respected my body daily. So this was really about being intentional with what my body needed and tuning in. I know me as a dancer, I am more internally, I guess, in a rhythm with myself just because we train in the studio. We're taught so much about how our body should feel. We move it an inch to be in the correct position. Like, I just feel like maybe being a dancer, I did become more aware of how my body felt. But even when I was going through my really disordered phases, I got really disconnected from my body. So when I started healing, I made intentional time each day to sit with myself, journal, sit for 5 minutes, meditate, do a mindfulness practice, because it allowed me to really be like, hey, how am I feeling today? What does my body need? What does my soul need? What does my brain need? And I started to actually ask and give it what it needed instead of before it was healed, I would just force it to do things no matter what it wanted. I didn't actually ask it. I just said, no, we're going to the gym. Suck it up. And now I want you to recognize that most women that are trying to get toned are under eating by at least 500 or more calories a day. And most women, again, you might be like, yes, Gina, this is me, think that they need to eat clean or cut carbs when really, like, they need to eat more, lift heavier. Simple. I'm going to just another simple short sentence for you to write down right there. Put it on your fridge. Eat more and lift heavier. Like, that is going to really help you start to transform. Those two simple things. I mean it. Again, and that inconsistency, damn, you're about to have your dream body tomorrow. And no, not tomorrow, not actually. Because we know that quick fixes aren't a thing that I'm going to encourage. But you know what I'm saying. It'll be here before you know it. And, you know, inside my coaching program, we teach exactly how to heal your relationship with food and build your dream body so that you're not choosing between your goals and your happiness. You get both. Like, you listening to this podcast right now, know that you can have both of those things. And, you know, freedom and physique goals are not enemies. They're actually teammates. And when you heal your relationship with food, that's when they finally get to work together. It's great. It's amazing. Like, it makes your life so much easier when you're not fighting yourself all the time. And you're actually helping yourself. And as we kind of close out this episode, I just want you to remember that healing isn't about settling. It's about building a body you're proud of, building a relationship with food that you trust, building a life that feels so freaking good to live in. Because you have spent you've spent enough years fighting yourself. Imagine what could happen if you started working with yourself instead. If you're scared that healing your relationship with food will mean sacrificing your dream body, I just want you to hear me when I say this. Healing isn't the thing that's holding you back from your goals. Healing is actually the thing that's going to get you there. Now, the dream body that you are chasing isn't just a number on the scale. It's how free you feel living in it. And just remember what you are actually trying to gain. You are trying to gain a life that you love, that you're obsessed with, and feeling obsessed with yourself. So that's not going to be fixed by a certain number on the scale. It's not going to be fixed by restricting a certain amount and finally hitting this end goal. You're going to find that when you finally start giving yourself freedom and kindness. Thank you so much for tuning into the Fit Without Obsession podcast. If this episode helped you heal, grow, or just feel a little less alone, go ahead and hit the follow button so that you never miss a moment of this journey. And if you loved it, share it on your stories and tag me at @thefitbean_. I seriously love seeing what resonates. Sharing this podcast helps more women step out of obsession and into their power. And that ripple effect starts with you. And if you're ready for deeper support, check the show notes for ways that we can work together. Just remember, eat the pasta, wear the shorts, and love the hell out of your life. You deserve it always. Talk soon.